To take some of these towns and cities, occupying them will be much more difficult. In Kherson, Ukraine, defiance. Residents woke up under Russian occupation and took to the streets. Go home, there's no vodka here, this man says. This woman, draped in her country's colors, stands firm. We are not afraid, we are together, she says.
Some incredible video out of Russsian Ukrainian.
Like zero defenses against them. If you're in front of a tank, it's terrifying. Ah! But then once you get on top, the tank is like, get off. Stop that.
Is doing more in this 3-second clip than The Rock has done in his entire movie career. You heard me. I said what I said. Clomp, clomp, clomp. The Rock's been officially clomped. But the idea that you can simply fight a wrongful conviction and get exonerated runs deep. But the truth is, it is far more difficult than you might expect, even if there's compelling evidence that you are innocent. Take Lamar Johnson, who was convicted in 1995 of murder. But between his conviction and his sentencing, one of the real killers wrote him a letter that you would think would have changed everything for him.
The letter opens by saying it's pretty much messed up, Johnson.
For a game of Monopoly, you'd assume that's it. That's an automatic get-out-of-jail-free card. Unfortunately, though, life is not a game of Monopoly. For one thing, no one these days can afford to buy property, and top a conviction, it has very little interest in seeing its work undone. So, for instance, I mentioned earlier that one of the few ways to get a post-conviction appeal is to argue that you have new evidence to introduce, but you still have to be able to show that it would have changed the outcome at your trial. And prosecutors will fight that notion hard. When one of the West members... But if the final decision could be wrong, you should want to make sure that you get it right. There's a reason that La La Land didn't just keep the Oscar after Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty smiled their way through that mistake. But while thankfully... for it was, we cannot let terrorists like Timothy McVeigh or any prisoners on death row appeal their cases endlessly. Here is the argument back then in a nutshell.
What about the fact that many of them now sit on death row for years and years and years with access to libraries and computers and everything they could possibly need so that they continue to drag out this process? There's got to be an end to it.
Okay, that's actually an even worse ice to everyone. And in addition to that high bar that gutted federal view of state convictions, it also imposed a strict 1-year deadline to file a federal appeal once your conviction is finalised, which I know might sound like a lot of time to you, but it
She says nobody blamed herself. And people say, well, she shouldn't be there, she shouldn't be there. Well, you know, she put herself there. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it that she's there if it's not hers?
I mean, I can take a crack at that answer if you want, because it starts with not hers. And while it isn't a complete list, it includes the cops who badgered her, the Texans who voted for a governor who seems unwilling to intervene, Ted Cruz, I'm assuming, somehow, the 91 senators who voted for EDPA in 1990 to wrongful convictions in the first place. And when they do happen, we need to make sure that we've elected prosecutors who will undertake conviction integrity reviews and governors who
break from fighting to get married on the front lines. It's like a wedding in Texas, but with slightly fewer guns. Although I must say, huge faux pas. Everyone knows you're not supposed to wear the same color camo as the bride. Where is she? Where is she? I'll tell you what, I will never complain about a destination wedding again. Russia has been hit with a series of crippling sanctions, and it looks like there's more to come because the U.S. and its European allies are now discussing banning buyers or urging people to help Ukrainians by buying digital items such as fonts, patterns, downloadable photographs, and artwork. So now you can order a lovely motivational needle